When you travel well, you come closer together. Cathay Pacific. Life well traveled.
symbolises everything that we are. So it matters a lot. The livery is the first thing that you see when you're getting on board the aircraft, and it's often the last thing you see when you're leaving the aircraft. The livery is the embodiment of us, of our brand. We looked at lots of ideas, but in the end we came up with quite a classic, quite a modern, contemporary design. We wanted to free the brushwing on the tail. That was an important element. It's far more attractive, it's far more simple, it's far more iconic as a freed brushwing than boxed in. We will always retain an Asian soul. We'll always be identified with Hong Kong. In some ways, that's what makes the livery so important, because that's what is landing at these airports. It's our representation in all those different countries that we go to. We like to think in terms of keeping values for a long, long time, so we've always prided ourselves on our service, on our safety, on our product, on our premium nature, and I think all of those things will stay. Therefore, it makes sense to have a livery that captures that too. It was designed to be timeless.
Bringing Dragonair into the Cathay Pacific Group has been a phenomenal success. We've done it 10 years ago. The business concept is very clear, which is that we bring the Dragonair network to match with the Cathay Pacific network so that our passengers can connect through each other's network.
Since the integration in 2006, we have modernized our fleet, with Dragonair adding more than 20 destinations. And the growth of our business is also very steady.
In the last few years, we have modernized the cabin. We improved the in-flight entertainment system and big improvement in the lounge standard. Our passengers love the Dragonair brand and the Cathay Pacific brand. Dragonair is known for its good product and services, and so is Cathay Pacific. I think that is the shared philosophy.
We believe customer services is number one, and passengers traveling well should be our major priority. Hong Kong is an international aviation hub and is also the gateway to China. And it helps to position both Cathay Pacific and Dragonair uniquely to capture the explosive traffic growth. The tourism in China is growing quite significantly fast, and the volume has tripled from 31 million to 109 million over the last decade.
Based on this good foundation of success, it is time now for us to look at the logical next step. We want to rebrand Dragonair into Cathay Dragon so that we make it more apparent for customers when they fly through our network. They understand that they are flying within the families of Cathay Pacific Group.
Well, the major changes of the rebranding will include the change of the livery to the Cathay Pacific brushwing logo, and also a digital touchpoint, together with some changes in the signage and also the product alignment. I think we can also assure the supporter of Dragonair that we will retain the essence that made Dragonair successful in the past. The rebranding will support our business to grow continuously and also to expand our network. And also it will offer more opportunity for our staff.
With this new branding, new look and livery, it will benefit both the overseas passengers and also the passenger, for example, in mainland China and Asia.
It will position Cathay Pacific and Cathay Dragon much better to capture the future business growth in the market.
The next 10 years, we will see even greater success with now the fact that we have brought the brand together.
Hello, I'm Richard Clausen. I'm 37 years old. I've been flying for 20 years and been with Cathay for 10 years. I'm a senior first officer on the Airbus fleet, and today you're going to follow me around and see what it's like to be an airline pilot. Generally, I'll wake up and start preparations about 3 hours before the flight, have a look on the computer system and download some information, some documents. Just make sure that I'm up to speed and prepared for the flight prior to even arriving at Cathay City. I always talk about the 5 Ps, which is prior preparation prevents poor performance. Once the paperwork's been done, I will look at the weather for destination and determine what clothes to pack. But I always take my swimming costume with me. And that's something I like to do, train. Physical fitness is a strong mind as well. I'm on the Airbus A330 and the Airbus A340. Very modern aeroplanes, state-of-the-art, and fantastic safety systems. It's a joy to fly. Well, when I was a young boy, my father and we used to buy glue and paint model aeroplanes, and we used to try and make them look like the box. And my mom, she would buy aviation magazines. I would collect them, cut them out, and it was a fascination of mine, a hobby. She would also go with me to the general aviation fields, the small flying clubs, and we'd sit there for hours and watch aeroplanes take off and land, and we'd have breakfast there talking to the pilots. And one day, one of my dad's patients, he took me for a flight in one of his small aircraft. From that moment on, I was captivated. 2 hours before departure time, it's a good time to head off to Cathay City. Let's go. Josan. Cocktail Sangam, go. Started off when I was young. My father bought me a radio control car, and a friend of mine had a motorbike, a beautiful yellow motorbike. And I really wanted it, but we couldn't afford it. So I sold my model car and I bought his motorbike from him. And after maybe 6 months, someone offered me some more money than I bought it for. So I thought, this was clever. I can make some extra money. And I started buying and selling motorbikes. That's how I ended up paying for my flying. You need to be determined, and you've got to drive for perfection, and everything always has to be done as well as you can do. And you've got to be a bit of a go-getter in aviation. We can look on the computer and see who we're flying with. It's quite nice to be able to fly with the same person, but that doesn't matter. If we fly with a new person, it makes no difference, because the way we trained is, it's a standard operating procedure, so everyone knows how to fly together. Now we're going to go through to the dispatch counter and meet the rest of the crew. The gentlemen, if I may introduce you, Captain Evan Summerfield.
Hi Richard, how are you?
Well, thank you. And Dennis Chan.
Hi, morning.
Nice to meet you. Dennis is the second officer for the flight, and Evan is the captain. He'll be taking us to Dubai today. There are a few reports we look at before a flight. One of them is the flight plan. We look at the weather. The weather is a vital part for the flight. It tells us about the departure weather, the arrival weather, and airport, which is an alternate weather. We always have an alternate as a backup in case we can't get in. Briefing is done. Time to go meet the cabin crew, get on the bus, and go out to the aircraft.
Hi everyone, my name is Evan, this is Richard and Dennis. Please remember, you are my eyes and ears down the back, so if there's anything today that you see you're not happy with, suspicious or not normal, please don't hesitate. Contact the chief or ring any of us up on the flight deck and we will help you out. Thank you all very much, let's have a good day.
We've arrived at November 68, our bay. We're going to enter the flight deck, start our aircraft preparations, and the flight will begin shortly. My passion for flying covers almost every aspect of the job. I enjoy meeting new people, meeting the crew. Once you're on the flight deck, there's checklists to be done. We're talking to air traffic control. It's a very busy environment, and I like that. We're dealing with the cabin, we're dealing with the ground staff. And once we get our takeoff clearance and we advance the thrust and we start to fly, that is when we become a pilot. That's my most enjoyable part. This aircraft has got multiple computers that protect us. We fly the aeroplane and the computers monitor what we're doing. It's got systems that we cannot over-exceed, bank angle, pitch angle, speed. And all the time, while we are flying the aircraft, it's like Big Brother. It sits there and watches us and it makes sure we do the right thing at the right time. So it's a fantastic airplane when it comes to safety. The second officer, Dennis, what he will do on the flight deck is a security check. He'll look for any abnormal objects or unusual objects on the flight deck. He'll look for emergency equipment in the correct position, stowed in the correct quantities. I'll put on my safety vest and I'll head outside, do a walk around. Fantastic. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. At Cathay, to deal with emergencies and failures, we always go into the simulator and we train continuously. So in the unlikely event that we do have one of these in flight, we've seen it, we've dealt with it, we can handle it in a calm and efficient manner. The passengers are on board, the checks have been done, we're about to close the flight deck door and say goodbye to you. I hope you've enjoyed the day of my life as a pilot, and we hope to see you on board our aircraft in the future. Thank you.
Come on in. I'm flight attendant Grace. I've been with Cathay Pacific for over 3 years now. Right after I graduated, I was deciding, and I thought, why not fly while I'm young? So right now, I gotta get ready. So follow me. Every time I put on my uniform, it's kind of like I'm playing a role, like a whole performance, a whole play. So when you're wearing the uniform, you have to act the part. Now I'm heading on to doing my packing. I already did my packing the night before. That's what I usually do for every flight. Key point is to pack light. And you're ready to go. So we're here now at Cathay City. That was around 20 minutes MTR ride and 5 minutes bus ride from my home to here. Thank you. Now we head in. Right here, we look for the flight file. Today, we're taking CX-111, so we look for the flight file here. There it is. And now we can head up to the computers. We're friends. So here, I just do my last-minute checks to see, for example, my position for the flight.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to CX-111 to Sydney. And before I start, please check your passport details. And Grace, day one.
Good attitude is a major factor of bringing good service to our passengers. Please be warm, friendly, nice to our passengers. When we talk to the passenger, find our tone of voice, our body language, and using eye contact. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Winnie. Alright, so the flight time is quite long, so some of the passengers may want to get some rest in flight. To minimize the galley noise, because the galley is very close to the cabin, okay? Speak softly and watch gently.
So right here, you can't go on with me because I'm going on the bus, so I'll see you later in flight. The first thing we do is our equipment checks. So make sure we have all the equipment we need for safety purposes. After that, we start doing ground preparation. That includes setting up newspaper, getting ready for the meal service, keeping all the drinks chilled, so we have dry ice for that. Before our passengers come, we make sure the scene is nice and presentable, so we check the TVs to make sure they're serviceable, the seats are clean. Even when I was a kid, I loved to fly. When I applied for this job and then started flying, it's that new excitement every time the plane takes off.
Mr. Wang, 请问你要哪一个？这个意大利面，好。
Whenever I see my passengers happy, I'm happy. Like a lot of people say, it's all the little things that count, but it's true. Also have the pork with XO sauce and rice, and at the end there, I don't know if you can see, tomato and cheese fettuccine. I like to help people before they ask. I just like to notice these little things and pick it up. First meal service, like for our flight today, we have 2 meal service. So between the first and the second, we do have time. We come back to the galley. We eat. Time to chit chat with our colleagues. All done. Very smooth and happy flight. So after the last passenger has deplaned, we do after landing check, and then we head out as the whole group to the crew bus. We're here at the hotel. One good smooth flight. Check off my list. Haven't slept the whole night, so honestly I'm physically very tired. So looking forward to getting some rest. Thank you for joining me the whole time, all the way to Sydney. And hope you had fun, and see you again soon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harrison. Nice to meet you again.
When you travel well, you focus on what really matters. Cathay Pacific. Life well traveled.